Some super good news to share with you guys. I have a great agenda. Lots of tips that I'm going to share with you about case processing during this time. So if you're going home from work, and you are chiming in, say hey, let me know that you're watching. It's so great to see you guys. I miss you guys. It's been a while. Melissa, hi, how are you? Stephanie, nice to see you. Also you're joining from Alabama. Nice to see you. Juliet, sorry about that, but nice to see you. So what are we going to talk about in this session? Hey, Henry, nice to see you. Nice to see you live as well. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the fact that the USCIS furlough, friends, is delayed. Such good news, such good news. The furlough is delayed. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's going on with them, with USCIS and their budget requests on Capitol Hill. And we're also going to then shift and talk about some case processing tips that I've assembled here for you, and I'm going to follow my agenda very closely because I have a lot of good information to share with you guys about biometric services, about what you can do about the backlog with green cards and work permits. We're also going to talk about what you should do if your green card is expiring or your conditional residency status is also expiring. We're going to talk about some updates at the New York field office. And so this is going to be jam-packed, and I want you guys to stay with me, share this video with your feed, because a lot of people are going to need some really good uplifting tips today. This was a hard week in immigration, a very, very hard week, and I know that. And so I'd like to share with you guys some really good news to end the work week. So guys, tell me, before I jump into it, tell me, how are you feeling these days? Hazel, it's so great to see you. Yes, it's good news that the furlough is delayed. We're going to talk about it shortly. Kimberly, thank you so much for being with us from South Carolina. Stephanie, nice to see you. Bashir, thanks for watching from Texas, sir. Good to see you. Wanja, wow, you're watching from Kenya. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching. So good news, this is a good news video. This is not a downer. We have some good things to talk about. So with that being said, guys, give me some hearts, give me some likes, give me some hearts, give me some likes, and also share this video with your feed, and let's get right into it. So let's do this. I'm going to X out of this and talk to you about USCIS. So you guys know that USCIS was slated to begin furloughing over 13,000 of its staff starting August 3rd. Now, they have since delayed this. They've pushed it back. Okay, and so I'm going to share with you my screen here so that you can see this article that came out today. CNN broke the news. Immigration agency pushes back 13,000 furloughs until the end of August. So here's what USCIS is now saying, guys. They are saying, let me zoom in here so that you can have a better view here. Here's what they're saying. Due to recent assurances from Congress that they are working to provide USCIS with emergency funding, we are able to delay the effective date of the administrative furlough from August 3rd, 2020 to August 30th, 2020 to allow Congress more time to act. So USCIS says that the furlough let me jump back here. Okay, so they're going to push this back until August 30th because they're expecting Congress to act. They're expecting Congress to include the bailout dollars that they're seeking. They are still seeking $1.6 billion from Congress, just so you know. And they made mention of that we are still seeking that amount. We're still seeking $1.6 billion. However, Congress said that they're going to work on putting that bailout money in the current coronavirus negotiations, the coronavirus pandemic stimulus package they're expected to put this money in there. And so because of that, we're going to delay this furlough. And also they acknowledged, after they were called out very strongly by senators earlier this week as well, on July 21st, they were called out by senators that they're actually going to end this fiscal year, guys, with a surplus. They're ending this year with a surplus, but they're projecting that next fiscal year 2021, they will be in a major budget crunch. So they're saying they still need this money, okay? But they were called out recently for the fact that they're ending the year with a surplus, and there is no need for them to really lay off so many of their staff. Okay, so that's the latest with respect to the USCIS furlough issue. They have money right now to carry them through the end of this fiscal year, but they're still, listen, it's strategic, right? They don't want to take this whole furlough issue off the table. It's all about negotiations. They still want to have that as a reason to push for funding in the coronavirus stimulus bill. And so that's exactly what they're doing here. And it's unfair because their staff are still like, okay, we're grateful that, we're not going to be laid off in another 2 weeks or something like that, but still, you still have this threat hanging over our head. So that doesn't feel so good for them. But nevertheless, they're not going to be furloughed on August 3rd. So that's really good news for you. It's good news for my clients. It's good news for a whole lot of people who are going through the immigration process, because at least you know that these people are actually still at work. Okay, and so that's the biggest issue that I wanted to start off with, that great news. Okay, so let's get into, if you guys let me know what you're saying. And so Samantha says, let me pull you up here, Samantha. I've seen videos saying that they are lying about being broke. Yes, and I've seen those great videos too. And so what's my take on it? My take is this. I'm looking at a letter here that was written by the senators, 2 senators, in fact. And in this letter, they say very strongly that they ask that USCIS take immediate action to save USCIS employees from unnecessary furloughs. A surplus is a stark contrast to the revenue forecast provided to Congress earlier this year that indicated a $571 million deficit for fiscal year 2020. So you've heard me say that Congress did go back to them and ask them to update their numbers because it looked really kind of fishy. And so they updated their numbers and provided Congress with maybe more truer numbers, so to speak. And it's showing a surplus this fiscal year. So they're called out here, and they're saying that in this letter, during this pandemic with record unemployment, needlessly forcing these hardworking Americans into unemployment will crush the morale of the workforce. And then it talks about the fact that with respect to the projected deficit in the next fiscal year, which starts October 1st of this year, they say that we are committed to addressing this issue in the next coronavirus supplemental so that they could avoid a furlough. So yes, the senators did in fact call them out, and that was very persuasive, I think, in getting them to say, okay, well, we don't really have a justification to furlough everyone starting August 3rd, but we really don't want to take this whole furlough thing off the table. We're going to keep it on the table, which is what they're doing. So now they're saying August 30th. In any event, let's see if Congress does put that money in the stimulus package, then who knows, they may take the whole furlough thing off the table entirely, but they're giving it some more time. All right. So yeah, that's what's going on, Samantha. Thank you for that. Yeah, they're messing around with people's lives without question. So many lives are impacted here. Okay, so let's get into Stephanie says immigration is important to this country. We need it. I completely agree with you. We need it on so many levels. Okay, let's get into some other good news. Good news. Okay. The next good news is about biometrics services, guys, the fingerprint. As you guys know, during the coronavirus pandemic, the application support centers had shut down, and many of them largely are now open, okay, including here in the New York area. And so people are starting to get their biometrics notices. So be on the lookout if you've been waiting for your biometrics notice so that you can go in, do your fingerprint, and the government can then run its background check on you to issue your work permit and other things related to your file. So just know that those centers are up and going, and that's really great news because that was one of the major slowdowns in the system. So letters are going out. Letters are going out indicating that you guys can go in for your biometric services. And if anyone has received their letter this week, just let us know in the comments so as to encourage other people, and tell us which jurisdiction or which city you're in, so that folks will have that information as well. So that's great news. Second news that, is it second or third? I'm losing track, guys. The next great news is the backlog of the green cards and the EAD cards, the work permit cards. You heard me report out on the fact that over 50,000 green cards should have been printed, and quite a bit of employment authorization cards should have been printed a long time ago, but they are not printing the cards at the pace that they should because the agency no longer has the contract with that outside contractor that was responsible for printing people's green cards and their work permits. So that's another reason why those who have been approved for those documents had not yet received it. And even some of our clients are in this situation, but we're starting to receive emails. Just this week, we did get emails from the government telling us that the card has been printed, produced, the card is being mailed, the card was delivered at the post office, right? We're getting all of those emails again this week, and you may have as well, but there's still quite a bit of people still waiting on their green card and waiting on their work permit. And so what can you do about this if you're in this situation? What can you do about this? Well, one thing that you can do is you can contact the USCIS Ombudsman's Office, and submit a form. And I just put up the link here for you guys so that you can do that. And I have the notice that was sent out from the Ombudsman's Office, and here's what they say. They are working to help people to get their green card and work permits printed. They said that USCIS expects that these backlogs will continue for the foreseeable future. So that wasn't great. That wasn't very helpful. But should there be a furlough of USCIS employees on August 3rd, card production backlogs will continue to increase. We know that there's not going to be a furlough on August 3rd. They go on to say that they are assisting individuals with applications whose applications have been approved, but whose cards have not yet been produced. And they're saying that if you're experiencing a delay in receiving your secured document, you may submit a request for case assistance at the link that I have up on the screen. So you may want to watch this video more than one time so that you can capture this information, or just do a screenshot right now, save it on your phone so that you could have this link and then go check it out, put in your form, let them know you were approved for your green card or your work permit and you still haven't gotten it yet. So that's one thing that you can do to get your green card and work permit produced. The other thing that's going on that you should know about is there is a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit that was just filed, as a matter of fact, class action lawsuit that is requesting that the applications for employment authorization cards be produced within 7 days. Okay, and so this class of people who are part of this lawsuit include any alien who reside here in the United States who submitted their EAD application and it has been approved and they have not yet received their work permit. And so there's going to be a hearing next Wednesday, July 29th, on this issue because they're trying to, they're filing a motion. They filed a motion for a temporary restraining order. So there's a class action lawsuit that's underway right now that is addressing this delay in green card in work permit applications. So stay tuned for more details on that class action lawsuit. Okay, now what should you do if your green card, is expiring, right? And you need to get that stamp in your passport to show that you have a valid, a lawful status here in the United States. What should you do? Well, as you guys know, during normal times, you would just make an InfoPass appointment, go to a local USCIS field office to get the stamp put in your passport, and you're good to go maybe for another year. And this applies to people also who have the 2-year green card, and you know your extension, your extension is coming up, it's expiring, and you want to get that stamp. This applies to you as well. Well, in ordinary times, you were able to go to the InfoPass appointment to do that. Now it's a little different because the field offices are not all operating at 100% capacity. So they're not seeing every single body who is in this situation. So what the government has told folks to do, including obviously some of our clients, is that if you're in this situation and you need an appointment, you contact them at this contact center 800 number, and be prepared, guys, because they are going to screen you. They're only accepting appointments these days. Many of the field offices, I can't speak for all of them, but many of the field offices are only accepting these appointments on an emergency basis. So for example, what do they think is an emergency? Well, an emergency is like, for employment purposes, you need to be able to show your employer that you have lawful status here. And so if you don't do that, you're going to lose your job, right? That's an emergency. Or if you need to travel for some other emergency purposes, you've got to let them know that on the call, because they are screening people and they're only accepting emergency cases. So this is what they're telling you to do. If your green card is expiring and you need to get the stamp, call the 800 number, answer their questions. If it's not an emergency reason, most likely that field office will not accept the appointment. So that's that. I'm going to leave the number up here so that you guys have that general 800 number. Now, what other good news updates am I sharing in this one? I don't know how long I've been on. Okay. And I'm going to wrap up very soon. New York field office. If you're here in the New York field office, I do have a few things that I do want to share with you guys. Firstly, if you had applied for naturalization, been approved, and all of that, most likely you've already been sworn in virtually. They've been swearing in quite a bit of people virtually recently, and that is still their biggest number one priority, is to those naturalization ceremonies, getting people naturalized. They were really rushing to do so before the furlough, before the August 3rd furlough, but obviously that's no longer on the table, but it is still a priority for them. So if you're a naturalization applicant just waiting for your ceremony, know that you are a priority to the field office here in New York. The other big thing that they're working on is for individuals who had interview appointment notices over the past few months, they are rescheduling those interviews. That is a major priority for them now. anyone who has been descheduled. Deschedule matters, okay, are a priority. So they are starting to send out notices with new interview dates. But you've got to understand that it's they're not, not everyone's going to get it right away, because they're not operating at full capacity at New York field office. It's still skeleton crew, not a lot of people on site, because they're trying to adhere to social distancing policies. So so that's another thing that you guys need to be aware of, that they're sending out those interview notices, but but not everyone is getting it like right now. It's kind of, I think, kind of slow actually. And then last, the other big update from New York is that they said that they're not going to close their operations. Even if there is a furlough, they're not shutting their doors. They're still going to be working, still processing, still doing the interviews and all of that. They do expect to have more interviews going in August, starting in August. They do expect to be interviewing more people. So that's coming up, and that's great news, because you need your interview so that you could get a decision. And that's if they did not waive your interview. Okay, so those are some really good news. And lastly, I do want to say this, and this came up today during a nice consultation that I had at the end of the day. So the last thing is that if you had an interview scheduled, and it was scheduled during this whole coronavirus time, and then you subsequently received an RFE asking you all these questions, don't really freak out about that, because the adjudicating officer is looking at the file, and he or she may have questions, and they just can't interview you right away in order to process your application. So rather than doing the interview, they send you the RFE to get some answers. So don't freak out. And also don't freak out, because more RFEs are happening these days. Everyone is affected by this. So don't think, oh my God, my file is bad, I didn't do a good job, the lawyer didn't do a good job. Don't freak out. It's just the normal course of things today at USCIS. So those are the updates that I wanted to share on this Friday evening to end the week on some really good notes. And so thank you for that, Selene. I appreciate it. And so I do have tomorrow I will be sending out a news roundup to give you more immigration news about more things that have been going on around immigration. So it's happening so fast, guys, but I'm trying my best to keep up with you guys. Thank you, Jordan, for that. Guys, if you want to stay really plugged in, follow me also on Instagram at McBean Immigration Law, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, McBean Immigration TV. So I'm going to end right now on a good note. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and please share this video with other people, and I will see you again soon. Bye.